The High Republic comic book series is a part of a new publishing campaign from Lucasfilm Story Group. I have reviewed the first issue a couple of weeks ago. If you're interested in that, you might want to check it out with the link above. For now, let's find out if issue 2 keeps delivering the goods. Stay tuned. Where should I start reading? What is canon versus legends? When does the story begin? The answers to these questions is right here on Star Wars Timeline. Star Wars The High Republic is an ongoing comic book from Marvel. Chapter 2, Tomb in Space, released in February of this year, 2021. Once again, it's written by Kevin Scott, with pencil work from Ario and Anindito, and colors by Annalisa Leoni. In terms of timeline, it takes place 232 years before Battle of Yavin, or before Episode 4. It's part of the multimedia campaign featuring adult novels, comic books, and children's storybooks. For those of you guys who have read Light of the Jedi novel, this story takes place immediately after that book, so they're all interconnected. If you haven't read anything at all from the High Republic, this series provides you with all the background information you need to fully enjoy it as a standalone story. I'm going to assume you already finished issue 1, but if you haven't and you want to quickly catch up, I'll provide the link where you guys could watch my review and get the scoop of what happened before. Now, let's talk about what this story is about in this particular issue. This issue continues the adventures of our protagonist pair, Keeve Trennis and the Jedi Master Skier. After completing her trials in the previous chapter, Keeve Trennis is now a fully fledged Jedi, and she's sent on a mission to investigate a distress call in a planet called Caslan System with her former Jedi Master Skier, and there are 2 new characters introduced, the Jedi twins, Tarek and Seret. Upon arriving at their destination, the group discover a wrecked ship with bodies of the crew members floating in space. Sensing some survivors, the Jedi find their way inside where they discover the aftermath of a brutal attack and the plumes of toxic smoke, the signature weapon of the Nile. After splitting into 2 groups and investigating further into the ship, Master Skier and Tarek fall into a trap and are attacked by a hidden assailant. Skier leaves his injured friend and goes into a full hunter mode, reverting back to his ancestral lizard instincts to stalk his prey. Unable to sense his attacker, the Jedi Master uses his superior reflexes to destroy the lone Nile pirate and goes into a full rage, slicing the corpse of the fallen enemy into many pieces. Next, the group report their findings to the Republic outpost, the Starlight Beacon, and get their next lead to continue the investigation. Skier's unusually violent outburst, unbecoming of the Jedi, leaves his former pupil Keeve, as well as the Jedi Marshal Avar Kriss, very concerned. The Jedi companions split up again, one group remaining on the ship to analyze the wreckage, while the other traveled to the Sedri Minor to pursue a separate line of inquiry. While Skier questions the locals, who aren't too welcoming of the visitors, Jedi Seret gets distracted and is spirited away. Meanwhile, back on the ship, Keeve stays with one of the twins and has a heart-to-heart conversation with Avar Kriss, who explains the reasons her former mentor isn't himself lately. Suddenly, Tarek cries in terror, sensing something terrible happening with his twin on the planet below. And once again, this sends the seasoned Jedi Master into a frenzy, chasing after his lost compatriot. Thankfully, the High Republic Issue 1 delivered a distinct and vibrant art style that demonstrates strong understanding of compositional skills, understanding of action flow from panel to panel, and I'm happy to report that Issue 2 continues the same trend. Each page is given love and attention it deserves, with detailed backgrounds, hand-drawn effects like blasts and smoke trails. The action is very easy to follow, with dramatic heroic poses and camera angles, if you will. The color palette is just as rich as the first issue, separating each location with distinct color scheme. And the character faces look very consistent and identical from page to page, which is an essential skill I always look for in comics. Too often the comic book series drop off in quality, and either feel rushed or they completely replace the artist with lesser skilled newcomers. Sometimes they do it to keep the budget under control or some other reason, who knows. I think Marvel is on the right track here. Please, please keep this creative team together. These guys have created something truly special, and I would love to see more of it. Now, let's talk about the story. I think this was another stellar issue, with strong writing, believable characters, and enough story progression to get me hooked from start to finish. We see Keith Trennis gradually settling into her new role as a Jedi Knight and dealing with new extreme situations as well as moral dilemmas in regards to her master's emotional outburst. Master Skier's unhinged behavior felt more than just a psychological trauma after he loses his hand, and I wanted specifically to find out why he couldn't sense his attacker in the smoke. Maybe it's foreshadowing a bigger threat. Maybe Nile have a new type of warfare that disables the Jedi from relying on the Force too much. I didn't find the Jedi twins particularly innovative. They just felt a little bit too familiar. But I suppose their mind meld connection served a decent plot device in the story. I didn't mind them, they were okay. In the end, I'll say this. So far, I like this direction a lot. There's a clear vision for this new High Republic storytelling. You can enjoy every comic book or book individually and never feel lost, and only enhance the experience if you read it all together like myself. There's a seamless transition from comic books to books, and it really feels like one coherent storyline. This is another solid 4 out of 4 issue. It reminds me of the good old Dark Horse comic book days. I've seen some criticism where people expect the same depth they would from a novel, but this is a comic book. And there's only so much an author can do in 20 pages, so it takes time to really build memorable and epic stories. I think the High Republic continues to impress with really great storytelling, one step at a time. As always, thank you so much for watching my review. I really hope you enjoyed this video and will consider supporting my channel by subscribing. If you read this book, I'd like to hear from you. Drop a comment, let me know what you think of the art or the story. Stay tuned for more cool comic book and book reviews, and I'll see you later.